So I'm not Suraj.
I was going to tell you.
At least not yet, you know. But I did want to come up because we're going to do something kind of special during this presentation. We're going to give you a live location experience. Now, this room has fenced you in. So we have put a geofence, an RF geofence around this room. So everybody that's in this room is going to get a chance to experience some of these location services. So this is what we're going to ask you to do. If you go into your device, take your, I'm not asking you to stand up or stretch or anything hard. This is something you do every day. Reach for that cell phone, reach for that iPad. Grab that device, as you see on the screen here, go into the select a network and pick Cisco Experience. And then after you go into Cisco Experience, then what you want to do is to go to WBA Alliance. And we're going to hijack the WBA Alliance for the next 20 minutes. So what will happen is you'll get a gray screen. I know this is very small, but you'll get a gray screen that has a Cisco symbol on it. And then a little bit later, we'll show you what we're going to do with that. So with that, I'll introduce Suraj, and we'll get started here.
Okay. Click here. Yeah, when lifeline for mobility would mean something different when geofencing, where he starts using words like geofencing. So first of all, thanks for being here. I know there are many great places you can probably be in San Francisco. What I'm going to talk about a little bit about is what's going on in the mobility space. There is a lot of stuff happening in the licensed world, unlicensed world, in Wi-Fi, and how Wi-Fi has become one of the poster child for transition in the marketplace. So let's look at, can we switch it to big screen? So first, let's look at how we did connect to a phone. 20, 30 years ago, phones were not connecting people, it was connecting phones. You had to go walk to a phone and make a call. And that's how the whole world started. Then came along the mobile handset, which started connecting people. This is where now you could make a call from wherever you were, and now with the iPhone coming along, a lot of the smartphones and smart applications were born. But where are we going? That's where we are today. Let's look at where we are going into the future. It's about connected experiences. Now, what does that mean? The technology becomes irrelevant, licensed, unlicensed. What it becomes more relevant is how do you consume the content? How do you connect? What is the experience you have at the end of the day? And that becomes very, very relevant. Internet of Things, that's what's driving it. Today, you can have a Nest control for your air condition. You can have smart garage door openers. You can shut off the lights. These are things that you can do at home, right? And this continues to grow as you get out into venues, at work, and your expectations of experiences changing every day. And one thing that's very common in all of this is Wi-Fi today. Every device connects over Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi has pretty much become an underlying fabric in many of these cases. And I don't know how many of you have seen the latest Chevrolet ads, right? Where now you can have Wi-Fi inside your car. And by the way, it's backhauled over LTE. So this is how the whole market is changing, the industry is changing. But there was one thing that always stopped, because Wi-Fi was great for data connection, internet connection, and that's how it was born. But there was one last barrier, that was voice. Here comes along Apple and the iPhone 6 announcement. Now, one of the things that came in the iPhone 6 announcement was Wi-Fi. Voice or Wi-Fi calling. If you go to your phones, if you have an iPhone 6 and you can go and look at it, Wi-Fi calling can be enabled. If your service provider provides voice over Wi-Fi service, now you can make voice over Wi-Fi calling. So that was kind of one of the final frontiers in where Wi-Fi has suddenly become relevant. And this is not through Skype. I mean, you could always do it through Skype or some other application over the top. But now with your dialer, as an end user, as an experience, you do not know the difference. You are calling, making a call like a regular call. That might be going over Wi-Fi, or that might be going over LTE or 5G in the future. End user doesn't care. But it does matter to a lot of our customers, service providers, for example. Here's an example of a T-Mobile advertisement that's going on right now. It's a very interesting advertisement if you really read the lines. Now, every Wi-Fi connection works like a T-Mobile tower. It's like adding millions of towers to your network in a single day. And think about the power of that. Where now you can use Wi-Fi to make those calls. It has huge implications. This can change the market very dramatically. And how Wi-Fi is perceived can change itself. And that's why the market is transitioning so fast. It's just fascinating to just watch every day. By the way, Wi-Fi calling has been there on some of the Samsung phones for almost a year. But one company can come in and change the paradigm really fast. And that's what's happening today. But when you think about voice over Wi-Fi, you really have to think about a carrier class voice over Wi-Fi. It's not just, making connection over any random Wi-Fi access point. I think over time it has to address a lot of the things like interference management, radio resource management, fast roaming, beamforming. These are the technologies that helps, at the end of the day, Wi-Fi and voice over Wi-Fi become successful. These have been relevant in the space of data, in the space of video, but in the time of real-time voice, it becomes even more relevant. Roaming, Hotspot 2.0 that WBA has been working on for a couple of years now, becomes even more relevant. Because if you can't onboard to a Wi-Fi network in a seamless fashion, like when I take my phone to Germany or whether I'm in UK, I don't have to worry about logging in, logging out when I'm on a licensed connection. If I can do the same kind of onboarding with Hotspot 2.0, that takes one barrier away. Now Hotspot 2.0 becomes even more relevant in this space. Then you have the gateways and the IMS core. This is kind of the back end that was already there for LTE and 3G. Now they become even more relevant no matter which way you connect, whether over voice over Wi-Fi or voice over LTE or 5G in the future. So this is kind of where delivering a carrier class voice over Wi-Fi becomes a very, very relevant exercise that all of us have to go through. But that's all about connectivity. It's not about experience. It's building a foundation for that experience. Logging in gets you in. But what you have to think about is, what do you do beyond connectivity? What is the kind of knowledge network that you want to build? And at this point, I'm going to give an example. There's nothing better than a customer who actually has deployed it and seen the benefits of it. And I'm going to share two slides. And these two slides, the next two slides, are from the general manager of Hyatt, who is in Santa Clara. This is the Hyatt in Santa Clara, where they've been running Wi-Fi in a very different way. They've built a knowledge network. And this is their two slides. This is not my slides at all. The first title slide, Wireless Hotel of the Future. Untethered, socially connected, highly visible. Any hotels, they are in the business of serving their customers like us. It's very relevant. Wi-Fi today, if you don't get a good Wi-Fi connection in a hotel, you're probably not going to visit that hotel because it's become as important as pillows and mattress. What is even more relevant is what they have done going forward. And the next slide is kind of the business outcome that they have realized. It's a 20-slide deck. I've just picked 2 slides out of that. I want you to pay attention to the third bullet here. Food and beverages revenue in lobby bar went up by 35%. Now, who would have thought that Wi-Fi will help you sell more liquor? And that's how the power of knowledge network can be. It's about social media discovery. It's about real-time notification. If a high-value customer walks in at Palace Hotel, I have the Palace Hotel app. I come in, I'm a high-value customer. The moment I walk into the Wi-Fi range, can I write a rule where the general manager gets informed about somebody walking in, a high-value customer walking in, so I can personally go and receive them? That is the power of the knowledge network. Connectivity is going to be taken for granted if it's not already taken for granted. I think the question is, how do you go up that value chain? And how will each of these paradigm shift help in making money or by saving money? These are the kind of 2 themes that you will hear non-stop, which is, how do you make money by saving money? How do you make money by following money? And you can do both of those things, as you can see from a customer's perspective. Now at this point, I want to bring in back Matt, and let's talk about how does this knowledge network actually look like. Matt, come on stage. And hopefully you've done your connection to the SSID and the weballiance.com.
Okay, everybody connected? Everyone's got their device? So, as Suraj was saying, Hotspot 2.0 has absolutely been a critical technology. You have to get people on the network before you can gain access to the services that are available on that network. But now that they're on the network, what's the next step? What type of services can we offer? So what we'd like to do is we're showing here on the side, there's a iPad behind the curtain on this side, and there's an iPad behind the curtain on this side. Hopefully this is what you're seeing. I'll just give you a couple of caveats. If your corporate policy is to block Java, you may not have been able to get in, but hopefully you're able to get in. This is a Java application. So we should all be ready now to see what some of these experiences might actually be. Let me give you an example. Say the airport example. I think many of us came through airports as we were coming out here. You have a connection. So you're landing for your connecting flight, you're coming into your layover, and what's one of the first things that the flight attendant says? It says, well, you can turn your phone on. Right? So you turn your phone on, you immediately start getting your dings, and you turn on your network, you want to gain access, make sure all those things you just missed over the last couple hours are right at your fingertips, right? So what happens is the network picks up your device. And because the network picked up your device and you're part of the airport loyalty program, what happens is it knows what gate the plane is coming into. It knows what gate is your connecting gate. It knows how long it's going to take to get between the 2 gates. It knows if you have to go through customs. It knows how long the line in customs is. It knows that there's an alternate path through customs that'll get you through customs faster. Hey, it happens to be lunchtime, right? You only have 20 minutes, you have to go through customs. Well, I'm not going to get any lunch. But you know what? The network knows that you're going to pass 5 restaurants on the way to your gate. And in fact, you're still sitting on your plane, and the notice comes up and says, hey, would you like to order lunch? And we'll give it to you in a bag as you get on your plane and go on to your next leg. See, it's these types of services that are very much relevant to the location that you're in. So how do you provide those services? You're connected. Now how do you make that airport more efficient? How do you make that hotel more available? How do you give this awareness of services for where you currently are?
So what's next?
So what's next? Let's show the demo here. So what we have is we have these screens. Hopefully you're seeing this as well on your devices. So now what I'm going to do is, based on the fact that you're in this room, you're in this big geofence, I'm going to actually, from this panel, I am going to control the experience that you're currently seeing. Now you see over here on the right hand, or your left hand side, the device just turned red. On the right-hand side, your right-hand side, the device just turned green. So what I didn't tell you is that we didn't just put one geofence in this room, we put in two. And the geofence overlaps right here in the middle. So some of you guys are going to have red, some of you are going to have green here, and that actually applies too, right? Imagine you're in the airport again, right? On one side of you is the food court. On the other side of you is the lounge, right? So the lounge is telling you that, hey, it's only 50% occupied, come on in. The food court is saying, hey, very short line over at the Chinese place, right? So now you know those services are available. You can go ahead and order your food or choose which way that you want to go.
Always run into that issue.
Choice between Chinese and the
I think it's about telling me how fast I can get in and out of a restaurant, right? I think, and which ones are the choices along the way.
Right, and what's convenient for you and what are your personal preferences.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Personal preference, that's an interesting thing, right? So not only do we know where you are and what services are available to you, but wouldn't it be effective if we knew what your personal preferences were? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push, something based on one of your personal preferences. Looky there. So now what we're showing is that if your iPhone is set to US English, you should see a $sign. Let me push it on the other side of the audience as well. If your iPhone is set for France, you'll see a euro. If your Samsung device is set for Japan, you'll see a yen. So now not only do we know where you are, but we know what your personal preferences are, and we can customize the experience based on those preferences. You know what else we can do? Watch this. I'll actually show here. So we even know what your device is. So now we know your device preferences, and I just pushed over there. That happens to be an Apple iPod. Let me push the device over on this side. See, that's also an Apple, but if you're using a Samsung, you're going to get a little Android robot. If you're using a Microsoft device, you're going to get the little Microsoft symbol. So now we can customize the experience even based on the device that you're using. Now we're going to let you experience this again, service first hand, right? So what kind of service should we give them? You think it's...
You're on a roll, Matt. You will take a hit.
So I tell you what, we're going to do this. We're going to push a coupon to you. See right there? It popped up on the bottom. This should have came up on your device. Cisco is saying, have a Starbucks coffee on us. Now, Suraj, he's the big senior VP, so everyone on his side of the audience gets a coupon. Should we give a coupon to the other?
I think give it to everybody.
These are my favorite folks over here, so so we should give the coupon over there too. So we'll pop up the coupon on this side too. So if you pull that coupon up, go ahead and bring that by our booth. We got 300 Starbucks cards for you. Come on and get yourself a coffee. And if you're one lucky person, we're even going to give away an iPad to people that give us their business cards. We'll do a drawing a little bit later in the day. So here it is, services in action.
I think what Matt just showed you kind of how you can personalize the data and the experience. Going back to the connected experiences, right? It's about not just spraying and praying. It's about trying to target it and doing it in a way that can serve a purpose for the airport or Santa Clara Hotel or any other venue for that matter. So Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you for being part of the demo.
So what's next, right? We talked about Hotspot 2.0. This is WBA Alliance meeting, right? And we need to figure out how do we deliver these connected experiences. When we think about Hotspot 3.0, there are multiple dimensions that come in place. And let me just put a few of them. Hotspot 2.0, we got to build up that. We got to get that going in the industry in a much, much bigger way so we can solve this onboarding problem. Certificate management, for all these devices, there are many of the service providers who don't even have access to these Wi-Fi tablets. How can we break that barrier? How can we make that part of their ecosystem? Analytics, ANDSF, these are standalone stuff that's being driven by each and every element different organizations. It's about bringing all of these things together and delivering that consumer experience that you and I want to do as part of our Connected Experience Challenge. So with that, I want to just roll it up. And one thing Matt didn't mention, unfortunately, none of these experiences you're going to feel it once you leave the room. So enjoy it, and thank you very much for your time.